Welcome to the combined agenda and regular meeting of the Monroe Township Council on this October 6, 2025. Would you all rise as we honor our flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You all may be seated. Someone make it. I'm good. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilman Charles DePiero.
Here.
Councilman Michael Markell.
Here.
Councilwoman Rupa P. Siegel.
Here.
Council Vice President Terrence Van Zora.
Here.
Council President Miriam Cohen.
Here. Would you please read the Sunshine Law into the record?
In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, it is hereby announced and shall be entered into the minutes of this meeting that adequate notice has been provided by the following. 1. Posted on the bulletin board within the municipal building on December 27, 2024, and remains posted at that location for public inspection. 2, printed in the Home News Tribune and the Cranberry Press on December 27, 2024. 3, posted on the Monroe Township website. And 4, sent to those individuals who have requested personal notice. In accordance with Chapter 3, Section 17 of the Monroe Township Code, public comment shall be limited to 5 minutes unless further time is granted by the Council President.
Thank you. We have the following proclamations this evening. It is Becker Muscular Dystrophy Awareness Week, the 5th of October through the 11th, Rett Syndrome Awareness Month, Hindu Heritage Month, Italian American Heritage Month, National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Will the clerk please read the ordinances for second reading?
Ordinance 08-2025-021, ordinance amending Chapter 108, Article 6, zoning district regulations, rezoning of Highway Development District along Butcher Road.
Thank you. Item 7 are the resolutions for consideration under the consent agenda, R10 2025-191 through R10 2025-209. Anyone on the council have a request to make?
Yes, Council President. I wanted to go back to 2021 on number 6. On that, I read through that ordinance and I had a conversation with our attorney about it. It's a 50-foot height, and I was a little concerned about the 50 feet height being a change, where most of the buildings are 35 to 45. So I don't feel comfortable with that 50-foot height on the change of that zone, HD zone.
So, Councilman, I spoke with the administration, and I think we share your concern. So, and they asked me to opine as to whether or not that would require a renotice, and I don't think that it would. So if you would like to, during the regular meeting, make that motion, and I would make it before we go into the public hearing, so that we'll amend it, and then we'd have the public hearing on the ordinance as amended to move the height from, in this, we're talking about the residential portion of the.
Correct.
From 50 to 45, we could do it then.
Correct. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And
Moving on to the next resolution.
The only one that I have that I would ask is R10 2025 192. That can be voted on separately. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? We will move to the public comment section of our agenda. Please remember that it's limited to agenda items only and 5 minutes per speaker. May I have a motion to open the public comment section, please?
Motion.
Thank you. A second on that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Yes, sir. Hi.
Good evening, Council President.
Good evening.
George Kunkelman, Monroe. I have a question about 2 items in the consent resolution. On page 2, item 203, R10 2025-203. What equipment are we talking about here? Are we imitating ice with private vehicles? What are we talking about?
Council President,
Please.
so no, Mr. Gunkelman, this is equipment that the county provides to us free of charge if we enter into this program, and we've utilized their sky towers, their light towers for our 4th of July events. They have sort of mobile command center areas that they would give to us in the case of a flood disaster or other natural disaster, and certain fencing for big events. So those really limited to that. If there's a flood event, we could access their high water vehicle, but that's pretty much it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
The other item was item 206, media replacement. What is that?
That's
What media?
Mr. Troy.
Filters in, me too.
Oh, okay, now I know.
Now you know who was,
Now I know.
now you know, right.
Yes, it's the media that actually is in the filters in the vessel for
Yeah, okay, I understand. Thank you.
Nice to be known by his suit alone, right? He stands up.
There's a media. That's a great question. You never know. Cable television.
Prakash Parab, 33 Dana Drive. Good evening, Mayor and the Council.
Good evening, Dr. Perot.
One thing, good resolution R10 2025-194. NJ Transit bus stops at Texas Road. So that is a good news. The question is, these Texas Road bus stops from NJR Transit are to the Newark or New Jersey? You know, there are buses going to Newark.
Are they going to Newark or New York? or
New
both?
York, yeah.
Council President, I believe this is the 138 line that goes to Manhattan.
Manhattan.
Thank you very much. There is a request from Applegarth to the Newark, so I hope you guys are lobbying for that, and that will be successful in future. So that is a request. There is another one thing, resolution R10 2025-208. That's also very appreciative. On the Links Drive, we are going to have pedestrian improvement that has been used for a lot by a community. The request to the council in future, let us have, sidewalk also on the half-acre road between Forest Gate and Prospect Plain. A lot of people walk on the side road, so that is the request, okay? Now coming to this, lot of misinterpretation is going on. In this ordinance 08-2025-021. I'm sure it will be discussed in the public forum. But like to confirm that this ordinance, which every one of you worked on and went to the court also to correct it. And I think this ordinance will dictate that there'll be no warehouse in the Beecher Road, which we talked about, and mayor and council, all council members supported that. And that is the agreement. And I understand that the warehouse now, which we got rid of, that location, as per the court order, we are going to have a residential place similar to Monroe Place. That is my understanding. There will be a residential place.
Yeah.
And the 25 acres which we have there, 10 acres is there, there will be a recreation center. That is my understanding. And my third or fourth understanding is that Route 33, whatever the warehouses are coming, they should have direct access to the Route 33, not going through the residential areas. So that's my understanding. So if there is a difference in understanding, I would request you to clarify.
So my only clarification is that there was no litigation.
Okay.
This was just a negotiation and a
okay.
settlement, but all of the things that you indicated are all correct.
All correct.
Good.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Anyone else wishing to address us in this agenda session? Seeing and hearing none, I'm sorry, ma'am. Moving quickly.
So sorry, Raymond, this is on the ordinance
Please, you're welcome. Your name and address for our records.
Just for the
please.
record, there will be a public hearing on the ordinance. You can
Yeah.
speak about this. We're in the work session now, but there'll be a public hearing on the
Yeah,
ordinance
this
also.
is not our last opportunity.
Wait, let me know that. My name is Ann Studholm. I'm a lawyer from Post Pollock, and I'm representing, and I have to look it up, Center Square at Monroe LLC and Monroe Gateway LLC. And they own the property right sort of within the L-shaped Lot 32. And so we're here to support the ordinance and say it would make sense, and I have a planner with me, to include my client's property, which the town may want to
You'll
do,
include what?
to include my client's property, which is sort of the little out parcel within Block 32. And so they'd be included in the change in ordinance. What the change in ordinance does is it makes it so that they would have to have a variance in order to do the permitted warehouse use, because they don't quite have frontage on 33, even though they have it at the intersection. But they'd be happy to do housing, which is probably more appropriate. If they're going to be surrounded by housing, probably more appropriate to do housing rather than warehouse.
Probably.
And so I'm happy to talk about it now and put my planner on now in the work session, or we can wait for the public hearing session, whatever.
You're
is
not
better for you
going
guys.
to, you can speak and your planner can speak, but you're not going to have the opportunity to put on a witness if that's what you think you're going to do.
Well, I mean, my planner is an expert. I mean, he can speak, I guess.
Well, the answer is, this is the public portion of the workshop session. That's why I mentioned to you that there'll be a public hearing on the ordinance. And when there's a public hearing on the ordinance, you can speak and your planner can speak, but this isn't a planning board meeting. You don't get to put, quote unquote, put on witnesses. So
No, I
you and your
understand
planner
that.
can speak if you'd like.
And I was actually, was just hired on Friday. So I don't know what the interaction has been and how council would feel about my client. But I think it's important to hear from them now. You could say, well, okay, you know what? We'll go and we'll amend the ordinance. We'll have Lou amend it and then we'll pass it. And that would make perfect sense. But we just walked in the door a little bit late. So I didn't know whether I should sit down now or wait for the public hearing portion.
You will have an opportunity in the public portion.
Okay,
Public
great.
hearing
Thank you.
portion.
We'll wait
You
over
are
there then.
most
We'll
welcome.
do that. Okay,
You are
thank you
most
very much.
welcome. Anyone else wishing to address us now? Seeing and hearing none. I'll try again. May I have a motion to close the public comment section?
Motion.
Thank you. May I have a second on that?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. May I have a motion to adjourn the agenda meeting, please?
Motion.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
Good. Roll call.
Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Councilman Markel. Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes. Agenda meeting is closed. It's adjourned. We will move to our regular meeting and is being called to order by motion, please.
Motion.
Thank you. Second on that.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Councilman Markel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes. May I have a motion to approve the payment of claims for the run date of September 30th, 2025?
Motion.
Thank you. Second, please.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Councilman Markel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. And may I have a motion to approve the minutes of the meetings written and presented September 3rd, 2025, our agenda and regular combined meeting? Motion, please.
Motion.
Thanks again. Second.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Councilman Markel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. We move to ordinance for second reading.
Or-
08-2025-021. How do we?
So we're going to take a motion to take it off the
Motion
table.
to take it off the table, sir.
I would make a motion to remove this from the table.
Thank you. May we get a second on that,
Second.
please? May we have a roll call?
Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Councilman Markel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes.
Motion carries.
We are going to I will read the ordinance is amending Chapter 108, Article 6, zoning district regulations, rezoning of highway development district along Butchers Road. We're going to open a public hearing on a motion, please.
Before we do that.
Yes, sir.
I believe that the councilman wanted to make a motion
Yes, you Yes, please.
correct the ordinance to reflect that the maximum height for the buildings in the residential zone are 45 feet. Is that correct?
Correct, that's exactly correct. Thank
Okay.
you.
So we need a second for
We
the
need a
motion.
second on that, please.
Second.
Thank you. Now we need a vote.
We need a roll call
vote.
on the amendment, and then we'll have the public hearing on the ordinance as amended.
Absolutely. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Councilman Markel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Look what we did.
There we go.
Here we go.
Now we need
So
to
now a motion to
open.
open the public hearing. A motion, please.
Motion.
Thank you. A second on that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Nay. Motion carries. Please remember, you are limited to 5 minutes, and you must be discussing this ordinance only.
Prakash Purab, 33 Dana Drive. I would like to repeat again because what I speak goes into the minutes of the meeting. My understanding is that the ordinance calls for the correction that there'll be no warehouse in the Butcher Road area. Secondly, the land which is there was given to the warehouse there will be constructions of the residential. And thirdly, my understanding is there is 25 acres, of which 15 acres is a wetland, whatever, and 10 acres of land will be allotted to the recreation. And fourth is, whatever the warehouses are going on Route 33, the zoning calls that those warehouses will have direct access to Route 33. They will not go through any residential area.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Correct? Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Anyone else wishing to address us on this? Please, sir. That gentleman is coming up, and you will follow him. Your name and address for our record, sir.
Dennis Liu, 31 Beechwood Drive, Monroe Township. Yeah, I just have a question on the conditional uses. Is this the wholesale distributive and storage establishments with the ingress on 33? This is the 108-7-2 standards of approval?
Go ahead.
The question is this just for that lot? Like
No,
no,
that's for, so what we did is we amended the highway district zone generally in the town so that warehouses are conditional uses in all of the highway development district. And the condition, there's only one condition. The condition is that they have to have a access to Route 1. Otherwise, they would require a use variance.
33, right?
Excuse me, 33. Sorry.
Too many meetings in
1,
one day.
33. It was between 1 and 33.
Yeah, well, there's 133 also, right, where they're filming this. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure because this said it was for the specific lot, Block 3, Lot 31, 32. So I wanted to make sure
Purpose of the
that was.
public hearing is make sure that things are clarified.
So there's two different parts to this ordinance. So we're rezoning that lot and block to take it out of the highway district zone.
Okay.
And then we're changing the standards in the highway district zone generally. So
All right,
there's
yeah.
two different parts to it.
Yeah, it sounds great. It just threw me off because you're taking it out and then putting it back
No.
in with this. Okay.
No.
All right, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're most welcome. Ma'am, you wish to speak to us?
My name's Nancy Ferrante. I live at 950 Route 33 East in Monroe Township on Highway 33. Okay, so what you're saying is there will be no warehouse near Butcher Road.
Correct?
Correct.
Now, North Disbro Hill Road goes off of Butcher Road, correct? Mm-hmm. So therefore, this is null and void?
I don't know what you're holding. I'm sorry.
This is a plan for a warehouse of 158,000 square feet.
That's the Federal Business Center one?
That's correct?
Correct. That's the one that's being rezoned now for affordable, for a
So then why did,
residential development.
so what did we receive this for?
you received that because, so, I'm sorry, some people may have gotten the notice. So there's two different parts to this ordinance. One is rezoning that property, and the second is changing the standards in a highway HD zone. So you got that notice because whenever we change a property from one zoning district to another, we're required to notify everybody within 200 feet of that property that there's going to be a change. So that's why you got that. You got it because you must own a piece of property that's within 200 feet of, I'm going to call it the Federal Business Center, because that's
Yes.
what everybody knows. So we rezoned that property where that warehouse was going to be. It's now being rezoned to residential.
Okay, so therefore, this gray area here is for the housing. May I approach? So you can see better? And therefore, you will not be filling in.
Oh, that's not our notice.
That's not our notice.
Council President?
Yeah, Mark can explain it.
Excuse me, yes, Mr. Rasmowitz.
Yeah, the resident had showed that to me before the meeting. It looks like that original application submitted to NJDEP for wetlands determination, so I believe that's what it
okay.
is.
It's
And it
gone.
does show the site
Oh, yeah, I
plan
can
that was denied.
Oh, I can explain what that is. In order, so the property is being rezoned, that map, and I'll explain to you what that map, the property is being rezoned to residential, so there won't be a warehouse there. In order to continue their wetlands permits, to keep the wetlands permits active, they had to renew their application. That was the plan that was on file with DEP. But once this ordinance is done, last meeting, we bought part of the we authorized the acquisition of part of the property. This now will rezone the remainder of the property to residential, so it will be all gone.
Entirely residential from Butcher Road
Correct.
all the way around.
Correct. And on the other side of Disborough Road, that piece of the property we're buying.
You're buying that,
Correct. The town is buying it.
where the Cocals were. On the corner?
No, the other side.
No.
On the other side where the wetlands are.
Well, it's not all wetlands. There's
is-
a significant amount of uplands there. Correct.
Okay, so are the wetlands going to be filled in, sir?
No, of course not.
Thank you. That's the future of our country.
Well, hopefully it's
The
not
world.
the future of the state of New Jersey, though, because
Oh,
I
it
think they
is.
still have something to say about that.
There's plenty to say about it, the coastal land.
Yeah.
And by shutting down the wetlands, there is no future.
So, and I agree.
There's a lot to say.
I agree, but, and there's probably two parts of this that you'll probably really like. First is we're going to buy the property on the other side of Disborough Road, which has some uplands but has a significant amount of wetlands. But more importantly, there's about 40 acres? About 40 acres of additional wetlands that Federal Business Center is giving to the town. So once we own it and preserve it, the federal government could go to hell in a handbasket. We own it. We're not going to fill in the wetlands.
Thank
So
you.
that's one of the ultimate way to preserve the wetlands is for us to take title to it, which is exactly what we're doing.
Okay, so the reason I ask
Mm-hmm.
is because I'm concerned about the future of the world. Without wetlands, there is no, whatever comes from within the wetlands is the future. Microorganism and such. Okay, I won't use my time because you've used a few minutes of my time. And so none of this, our land, our property on 33, the state of New Jersey has stated to me by shutting down where behind Wawa, 2 wetlands, sir, that the state of New Jersey said not to do, Monroe Township did anyway. Our property suffers from that.
That's not the property. It has nothing to do with this ordinance.
Nothing to
though.
do with this
So it
ordinance.
has another ordinance.
Well, it's got nothing to do with this
Like
ordinance.
three-
But this is only a public hearing on this ordinance, ma'am.
Ma'am,
So
this
if you
public
don't,
Okay,
hearing is
but
on
I'm
this
looking
I
ordinance.
don't know anything about your property otherwise.
Okay, so this is gone.
Yes.
This is not going to be touched, the wetland, because what's going to happen is going to come down, is the trickle effect.
Ma'am, I'm
what
going
the-
to ask you to close your comments, please. You're out of time,
May I speak for my
please.
husband?
No.
I'll sit down.
No, you may not.
No, no, you can't.
So therefore, there's going to
Thank
be
you,
residential. Good.
We agree.
We agree. Anyone else wishing to speak on this ordinance, please come forward now. Ma'am.
Thank you again. For the record, Ann Studholm of Post Pollock, representing Center Square at Monroe LLC and Monroe Gateway LLC. And they own, of Lot 3, they own blocks 3 and 33, which are within the wraparound of the property that is getting rezoned to residential. The lady was just mentioning Noble Warehouse on Butcher Road. There are a lot of uses that we'd still be zoned for that the planner will mention. I'm going to go very quickly so that he can have his full 5 minutes. And including warehouse, were we to qualify for that variance, which from this site, due to the way that intersection geometry is, probably a variance that could be obtained. However, we're perfectly happy to do housing. Two things that the council should know is that in order to preserve the owner's rights under the time of application, they actually did put a warehouse application in today. I am the attorney of record on it. I haven't even seen it. My understanding is it did go in today because they had to, because the zoning is changing. We also have a challenge in. The lawyer is Walter Toto, but I believe I'll be handling that. The challenge for the HEFSP. My understanding is the only other challenger is the SPII site that had the ball legals and all that litigation.
Yeah, by the way, the challenge that was filed was out of time, so you don't have a challenge.
Guess what?
You don't.
It's not out of time, and we can litigate that tomorrow if we want. Judge McCloskey himself has found they're not out of time, so I don't know if Judge Bookbuster wants to, go against Judge McCloskey. We'll talk about that tomorrow. It's not out of time. One way or another, I think we have vehicles to negotiate an appropriate residential, as I'm understanding the public wants, use for our property, rather than things like motels and car dealerships and other sorts of things that would still be permitted. So with that, what I'd like to know is if I can ask the planner, who will talk with more intelligence than just a lawyer, to these planning issues for this site. And he's right here. I'd like to introduce him. I don't know if you have to take him as an expert or if he could just put comments on the record.
I need to ask you a question, please.
Well, I just want to just clear it.
Right.
The answer is you have 5 minutes to speak. And when you're done, your planner can speak, but both of you can't speak at the same time.
Of course not.
If you're done, you're done,
yield.
and you can have him speak. Your question is?
My question was, I think this.
That's it.
Right,
Yeah.
thank you.
Correct. So you mind going back? You're
go
not going to
back
be
to
able
your
to sit
seat.
here and ask him questions if that's what you
I'm
think.
not asking
Okay,
questions.
so you can go back to the audience.
Please
then.
go to your seat and let him.
Thank you.
Let him give us his name and address, and
Yes, I'm just going to ask counsel. I've got 5 aerials I'd like to share. Is that appropriate?
You can give them to the clerk. Sure.
you can get right here.
Okay. Picture's worth 1,000 words, and that'll make everything shorter.
I pass this down. Give them to Kevin.
Thank you.
You have enough for council.
Want to share or get one down there? I don't need one, so.
You got one. It was only
Okay,
for
I don't
council.
get to look at it anyway. We're okay.
You want one?
No, I'm good. I'm going to listen.
I just let him speak. I don't.
He's just speaking.
Go ahead.
We're not taking it.
Just
Go
a
ahead.
handout. I didn't hand it in electronically, so we don't have it to
Okay.
do that with.
Okay.
Good evening. My name is Cray, C-R-E-I-G-H, Rahnkamp, R-A-H-E-N-K-A-M-P. And as was said, I'm a planner here in New Jersey. I won't do qualifications. It's
Not
not the right
necessary
forum
at
for
this
that.
point. No, it's not.
As you'll see from the aerial, and this is why I say a picture's worth 1,000 words. The ordinance that you're adopting tonight does 2 things. One is that rezones the property to the right of what you see in yellow outbound. That's our slightly under 7-acre property. Across Butcher are 2 existing residential developments. And now immediately going in the opposite direction to the right and to the south is the property that you're rezoning for multifamily this evening. It leaves essentially a piece of the business zone left over after everything else around it has been carved away. That 7 acres, as was said, there's an application now filed for warehousing, but the other uses on that site include car sales, hotel, office buildings. This is obviously not a world in which we're building new office buildings. So we've got this lump of lands now surrounded by residential because of the actions that you're taking this evening. And it's time, I think it would be appropriate, not this evening, but going forward, to begin investigating what would be an appropriate use for the site. As counsel for the applicant or for the owner has said, They're perfectly happy to develop it residentially as the other properties around it have gone. And there may be opportunities to explore other uses with your planning staff as well. But clearly, being a just under 7-acre tract left over of highway development zone, now that everything around it's been changed to residential, just doesn't make a lot of sense in the long run. That's the key point this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Council.
Appreciate your time. Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address us on this ordinance only, please?
No. No, same ordinance.
Same
No,
ordinance.
same ordinance.
Same ordinance. Excuse me, ma'am. I would like to have a motion to
Close.
close, please.
Motion.
Thank you. May I have a second on that?
Second.
Public comments, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Madam President, I just have a question, if I could. After hearing the public comments, I mean, and as the planner said, the picture's worth 1,000 words. It kind of, I look at this as looks at, it makes sense to include it, but I don't know what we have to do to go about that, to include that, this parcel into this zone, because they're not going to be able to get highway development frontage if we're creating a hardship. And then in a second, we're also looking at the neighbors in the across the street, which they want residential versus commercial. And if they did put an application in, I'm not a lawyer, but if they put an application in and everything, so I don't know, it just makes for a warehouse. I just didn't want to see a future lawsuit come down the road, another one on a zone change. So how can we go about if we wanted to amend it and add this parcel to this
Mr. Miguel?
to our change?
Council President, can I be heard on this for a moment? So I would recommend that the council adopt this ordinance as it's written tonight for two reasons. One, we were trying to and successfully did prevent a warehouse construction at the former or the current Federal Business Center site at North Disbrow and Butcher Road. Part of the way that we did that was to include that site into our Round 4 affordable housing compliance plan for 158 residential units at that site. We are also listening to the resident and our own professional experts regarding the highway development zone and what's compatible and what isn't. And it was determined, and it is recommended strongly to the council that having that ingress and egress on Route 33 is incredibly important. Whether or not adding this property that we've just heard about into this zone would create an additional, I don't even know how many residential units, because we have no application in front of us. But I would say from the administration's perspective, we are not looking to add more residential units than we need to comply with our Round 4 affordable housing. We're not looking for another high density project, and the suggestion, and I understand it and appreciate it from the property owner's perspective, but from the township's perspective, it is not beneficial, and I would recommend strongly that the council adopt this ordinance as it is written tonight.
Thank you very much.
And I just want to clarify the record. I'm not sure this is the property owner. I think this might be the contract purchaser, I think. So I'm
True,
not sure.
I don't know I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah.
At this moment, then, I'm going to request a motion to adopt ordinance 08-2025-021. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second on that motion? Thank you. We have a roll call.
Councilman DePiero.
No.
Councilman Markel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Motion carries. We now move to the resolutions for consideration under our consent agenda. That was R 10-2025-191 through R10 2025-209 with the exception of,
R10 2025-192, which will be voted on separately.
may I have a motion, please?
Motion.
May I have a second on that?
Second.
Thank you. May I have a roll call?
Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Councilman Markel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 6 is resolutions removed from the consent agenda, and that was resolution, repeat the number again.
R10 2025-192.
May I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Thank you. A second on that.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman DePiero.
Abstain.
Councilman Markel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Motion carries. We move to our reports for the evening. May I have, Mr. McGowan, please?
Actually, Council President, I have no report for us this evening, but
Very
Thank you.
exciting. We have our engineer's report, please, Mr. Razumowitz.
Thank you, Council President. I have a short report. Thank you for the council awarding the Lynx Drive road improvement project tonight. That's being paid for about 60% of the project by an NJDOT grant of $552,000. Hopeful to get that started before winter, but that project will be most likely coming on board in the early spring. Prospect Plains Applegarth Road intersection, that's a Middlesex County project. As I reported at the last meeting, the project was awarded to the contractor. It is underway, though you don't see any work going on out there. There's utility relocations and really the coordination of the utilities prior to any construction out there. So they are working with PSE&G for the gas lines and Jersey Central Power and Light for the overhead. So you will be seeing some action coming out there soon. James Monroe Park, the concession stand and park improvement projects. That project is moving along well. The septic system is already going in. Rough plumbing for the building is going in as well, and we should be receiving the state permit for the new well soon, and then that'll follow, and we hope to be coming out of the ground with the building very shortly. And last thing I have to report is the pickleball courts and the parking lot at the senior center. That's moving extremely quickly. We plan on paving the new lot and the courts near the end of this week, and hopefully completing that parking lot within the next 2 weeks and get that open so the senior center can utilize that parking lot. And that's my report.
Thank you very much. Moving to our council reports, I will begin with Ward 1, please.
How did that happen?
How did that happen? Look
How
at
did
that.
that happen? I just want to make this quick. I just want to say a shout out to the Human Relations Committee. They did have a Taste of Monroe this year. We had a record number of people show up. If everybody, that was donations to the Betty Snyder Food Pantry, which we had a tremendous amount of donations this year. It was beyond belief. I also want to give a shout out to the Senior Center. I just want to give you an idea. For the month of May, June, July, and August, they had about 33,000 people registered for programs for those months. Just to give you an idea of what the Senior Center does, over 33,000 people registered for things. Another thing is there was probably another item that I want to, they transported close to 1,700 people over those months to various things. So our senior center, who sometimes gets criticism because they can't handle the amount of volume that they have. It's just beyond belief how much hard work these people do. The only other thing I want to mention is Oktoberfest on October 19th. It's a great event. Thousands of people show up. You'll get to meet a lot of Monroe people and a lot of different vendors and so forth. So put down on your calendar October 19th for Oktoberfest. I hope I didn't take anything out of Rupa's speech, but I had, since I'm first tonight, I had to say something about something. Thank you very much.
Ward 2, Councilwoman Rupa Siegel, please.
Good evening. Thank you, Council President. I have a very brief update tonight as well. I just want to share some upcoming events. Our Cultural Arts Commission this Sunday is our Township Diwali event from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Senior Center. Please come join us as we celebrate Diwali and enjoy cultural programming from dances from India. It's an opportunity to support our local Indian restaurants and vendors too. And we end our night with a Diya lighting. So it's free admission. Bring your families and come join us. And also, Sunday, October 19th, after the Oktoberfest, the Cultural Arts Commission is presenting ABBA Tribute Band at 4 p.m. at the high school. So tickets are on sale. Please join us there. You can have a full Monroe Day starting at the Rec Center. And then I just want to put a reminder out there. There was a park survey that came out to residents. I would like to make sure people saw the brief survey to gather public opinion about how to best use the 2 parcels of land being converted into parkland with the support of state funding. The 2 properties were near Garvey's Restaurant and Pub, and also the 10 acres near Butcher Road and Disbrow Hill Road. So the deadline for responses is 5 p.m. on October 17th. The information is on the township website. Thank you.
Short. Ward 3, Councilman DePiero, please.
So the pressure's on. Everybody's got
Pressure's on.
short reports.
Short
so
reports.
I'll try my best. Talking about 405 Spotswood Gravel Hill, I just wanted to put a shout out to DPW. They cleaned it up really, really nice. They got the trees cut, and now now it looks almost like a park. So I just wanted to say thank you to our staff on getting the property cleaned up. And then whatever the surveys say, we can all look at that and listen to the comments for the request on the 2 parcels that Councilwoman Siegel just said. I was happy to see New Jersey Transit requesting another bus stop on Toby Terrace and also Texas Road. But we also need another bus stop also by Spotswood, Englishtown, and Buckaloo up by the Regency. If we could put a little pressure on New Jersey Transit, a lot of the residents are looking for a bus stop. We have another one on Spotswood Englishtown Road in the corner of Old Texas Road by the firehouse, and people use that. So it is definitely a plus. The 522 water tower, I want to thank Joe and his staff on putting that together and successful bid, because we did receive some emails from the residents from Heritage Chase. And it's if you look at the water tower from the outside, you wonder, say, what's on the inside? And this will take care of the cleaning on the outside and the inside. And I just wanted to say thank you, Joe, to you and your staff that made that happen, and our town administration on getting the funds for that. So thank you. I have a little concern about the paving contractor this year. I went back and I looked at some of the paving that they did. Manholes, broken frames. I opened a couple of valve boxes. I've noticed there was asphalt, along with some paint from the striping contractor. So hopefully we're holding some money, and there is a punch list from our engineering office to make sure that this contractor lives up to his obligations on doing the job right, and he doesn't leave us with our infrastructure with broken manhole frames, and where we have to go back later and pave them in, because that's something that I think our MTUD look at, and also our administration from Center State. So if you guys could get back to the council on the repairs, because there is quite a bit of work that needs to be done. I also wanted to talk about everyone get out and vote. The election starts, so just make sure everybody votes on 10/25 early voting, and then election day, of course. But it goes from the 25th of October through 11/2. So it's at our library for early voting, and there's other locations throughout the county. But I wanted to wish our clerk's office, you guys always do a phenomenal job.
Well before.
And I know that you guys work hard at it, and I just want to say good luck with it, and good luck to all the candidates. The Green Fair, we went, a lot of us attended the Green Fair at the high school, along with a car show from the PTA. It was well attended. It was a beautiful day. We had a flag from the fire company, Station 51. I mean, it was just a great community together, gathering to see the Green Fair, and it was just a good event to pull everything together for the community, and I thoroughly had a good day at the car show and also at the Green Fair. And at Regency, they had a car show at Regency as well. I even joined that. It was always a good time to look at the old cars, bring back some memories. I was wondering about a proposal on the LED streetlights for Monroe. Do we have any proposals from JCP&L yet?
Mr. McGowan.
Council President, we don't have those proposals yet. We're working closely with JCP&L to get the existing streetlights repaired, and they've made an incredible progress. I talked to them today, and they're down to about 70 streetlights. This is not in the senior communities. This is out in the rest of. But we're also connected with managers at the senior communities, some of which have had a better experience over the last month or so than they had previously. So the new representatives there are providing a better service, but it's still always a challenge and always a struggle. So
thank you.
Okay, thank you. And the police department, I've heard that we have some issues with the contractor. I'm not sure, Mark or Kevin didn't say anything about the police department, but where are we? I mean, where are we with the completion date? Where are we as far as budget's concerned? And is the contractor working? Did the contractor walk off the site? Or can someone give us some insight on what's going on with our police headquarters?
Mr. McGowan, you wish to come?
No
Oh,
problem.
Your mic's off.
Fine. Thank you, Pete.
There you go.
So I'm sorry, Councilman. Obviously, I mean, there's a lot going on legally with this, including negotiations. We certainly are going to avail ourselves of whatever remedies we have. We've looped in the bonding company, but we're confident that we have the resources and enough money left in this contract that we can get the project concluded, and that's the most important part.
So we're
I don't think
going
there's not much else I can say publicly about it, as you can imagine.
But we're pursuing to go after the bonds.
Of course, we always, whenever there is an issue with regards to a contractor, the first thing we always do is put the bonding company on notice.
No,
So
I
we
just
have
did-
that. We have done that.
I mean, we haven't heard anything, and I know we're well overdue on a completion date, but I was just concerned on what are we doing, and the contractor, if he's there, or he's not there, whatever, you guys are going after the bond, so okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Mayor, do you wish to add some to the discussion tonight, or you also had a short? Oh, God, it's the new suit, Terry. It's your new suit, I apologize.
In fairness, I was leaning forward.
Council Vice President in a gorgeous new suit, I apologize.
Have very little to say tonight. I also enjoyed going to the Green Fair. I was there after all the other big guys were there and showed up in the afternoon and stuff. But had a nice time, got a few bananas, and all the people there really do a nice job, and it's something that's necessary. Reminder again, as they said, Oktoberfest is October 19th. Election Day is November 4th, so whoever you vote for, it's important to get out and exercise your constitutional rights. It's something that not every country can do, and we have that privilege, and we have that right, and we have that duty. So go out there and do it, whatever your persuasion may be. I do want to compliment the administration on the tremendous job they did on that ordinance 2025-21. You hear what happened, but what you don't hear is what could have happened. This is a case where we denied that warehouse. Very easily could have led into a very costly lawsuit. We don't know what would have happened in the lawsuit. We may have prevailed, we may have not prevailed. And, our legal department with our administration, what did they do? They negotiated, and they were able to work something out that was agreeable and I think clearly benefits the town. Now, I also heard the other folks talking about an application. My feeling on that is I don't know anything about their application. I don't know anything really about their property. I see where it is and I get that, but I think the better process would be for let them to submit something in full, and just like every other submission that we have, any other application, we can consider it. Let's see what it is. If it's for the benefit of the town, we'll go for it. If it's not for the benefit of the town, I presume that we would deny it. But at least this way, you're making a decision based on intelligent information before you, and you're not just saying something off the cuff without really knowing what's involved. So, but again, compliments on getting that done and passing that ordinance. I think that was great. So thank you. That's all I have.
I apologize again. It's the new suit that threw me off. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Council President, for allowing me to provide some remarks. I do want to just piggyback on the discussion of the ordinance and what Councilman Van Zura said. To me, having been a member of the zoning board, you rely on the zoning and planning board to do a full vet with an application where there's multiple witnesses, where you have resident input as well as trying to jam an application that could be hours and hours of discussion in 10 minutes, which I think would be a travesty to the public. So, with that being said, I know Councilman Markell had mentioned about the human relations and the successful event that we had at our senior center for a taste of Monroe, and getting food for our food pantry, for the Betty Schneider food pantry. Obviously want to thank everyone who had donated, but I do want to thank those who participated, the restaurants. In particular, I'd like to highlight the Bearded One Barbecue, Chiro's, Dunkin' Donuts, Fine Fitness and Lifestyle Coaching, Forsgate Country Club, Istanbul, Mind the Gap Coffee, Mrs. Kumar's, Red Agave, and Tomato Pies Italian Kitchen for providing some tasty treats for the residents that were there. And in particular, Red Agave, I being raised in Catholic school, right? You always hear the Bible story of the wedding of Cana, right, where there's not enough food, and and there's a conversion going on where all of a sudden there was unlimited food. I think Red Agave is working with the big guy up there, because they just kept pumping out food, and I don't know where it was coming from. So just an observation.
Slight observation.
I was so very proud to be part of the donation ceremony with our Monroe Township Senior League softball last week. The group raised $42,000 for a donation to the Make-A-Wish Foundation right here in Monroe Township. So I do want to thank, obviously, those who donated, but to the executive committee for the Monroe Senior Softball League. They really do a great job. They have a lot of fun throughout the summer playing softball. But they always cap it with a tremendous donation, and this one in particular was fantastic. Just a couple upcoming events. I know Diwali and Oktoberfest was mentioned, but we have this coming Friday, October 10th, between 5 and 7:30. Please show your support to our local VFW. They have a spaghetti dinner at the James Burke Elks, so hopefully you can see you there. Also did want to highlight and bringing back the Passport Clinic. It will be held on October 23rd between 2 and 5 o'clock here in the municipal building. Please be on the lookout for some information. And obviously at the end of this month is the great holiday of Halloween. Here in the municipal building, everyone gets dressed up. It's a lot of fun. So if you have some kids, grandkids, you want to bring them through, it's fun. They decorate the building. Also, just please be careful, obviously, to those who will be participating, walking around, getting their candy, but those who happen to be driving through the streets of Monroe Township, please be careful. And it's getting a little darker. Daylight savings time is coming up soon enough, but still, just be careful out there. So, Madam Council President, I thank you for allowing me to report.
It is always a pleasure and an honor, sir. I am going to ask for a motion to please open our public comment section of the meeting, please.
Motion.
May I have a second on that?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Remember that there's 5 minutes per speaker. You wish to address the council, please come up stating your name and address for our records. Anyone wishing to address the council, please, sir. You're welcome.
Before I start, there are a few of us here who are speaking on the same issue, the same topic. I don't know if you want to lump us all together or...
I don't want to lump anyone together.
Okay.
I want everyone to have their opportunity and not to exceed 5 minutes.
Okay.
Then we're good.
Right, okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Your name and address, please,
My
sir.
name is Peter Economou. I live at 110 Diamond Spring Drive, Monroe Township in Stonebridge. Council President?
Yes.
Council members, Mr. Mayor. I'm here tonight to respectfully urge the council to pass a resolution in support of the Immigrant Trust Act, which is currently before the state legislature. This piece of legislation will codify and expand the state directive that's currently in place, which limits local law enforcement from collaborating with federal immigration authorities beyond what is required by law. The Essex County Board of Commissioners, as well as at least 15 towns in both blue and red counties, have issued such resolutions, including Atlantic City, Bloomfield, Chatham, Edison, Flemington, Kearney, Leonia, Maplewood, Madison, Morristown, Patterson, Plainfield, Princeton, South Orange, and Trenton. This legislation is not about politics, it's about people. It ensures that local law enforcement does not act as federal immigration agents, and that our local resources are used to protect public safety in Monroe and not tear families apart. There are stories of the immigrant mother who drew a map on the back of her child's hand so he could find his way back home from school in case they were separated. A 16-year-old girl who could not register for school because both of her parents were in detention centers, and a 17-year-old teenage boy who has to figure out how to make a life here without his parents who were both deported. We all want a safe town, but when undocumented immigrants are afraid to report crimes, cooperate with the police, or seek medical help because of potential detention, arrest, or deportation, everybody is less safe. The Immigrant Trust Act restores that trust. It builds a firewall between immigration enforcement and local law enforcement so that people, regardless of their status, can come forward when something is wrong. Just to be clear, this act does not prevent our Monroe police officers from doing their jobs. On the contrary, it allows them to do the jobs they were trained for. It simply ensures that they are not deputized by ICE, which would otherwise strain our resources, erode public trust, and make the Monroe Police Department's work more difficult. Enactment of this legislation into law could even result in lower crime rates, better cooperation with police, and healthier community relationships. Support for a resolution is also a human statement. It says that in Monroe, we value fairness. We value the hardworking immigrants who are our neighbors, co-workers, and friends, and who contribute to the local and state economies, and that we do not believe that fear and intimidation ought to be a part of public policy. In Monroe, we have the chance to stand with other communities in the state on the side of safety, trust, and human dignity. I ask that the council join Senator Greenstein and Assemblyman and Woman D'Angelo and McCoy, who have signed on as co-sponsors of the bill, and pass a resolution affirming this town's support for the Immigrant Trust Act. This action will continue the momentum that is gathering towards the passage of this bill, hopefully during the lame duck session of the legislature and its signing into law by Governor Murphy. I have copies of, or a copy of the resolution.
We have a
that,
copy.
The Board of Commissioners of Essex County issued, and I'd be happy to give it to you.
We have a copy of the.
You have a copy of that?
Yes. Not Essex counties, but we have a copy of the proposed Immigrant Rights Act. I do have that.
And you have this also.
This I do not have. You may leave it with us. It's fine. Thank you for your comments, sir.
Thank you.
Folks, please would you hold your applause? The next person who wishes to speak, please come forward. And again, stating your name and address for our records. And the time limit remains 5 minutes. Dr. Parab, someone is reaching here. You here again? Okay, please.
Prakash Parab, 33 Dana Drive. We Monroe Indians for Civic Action for the 8th year are organizing Seva Diwali food drive. And want to inform entire town that we have about 650 individuals who visit food pantries in Monroe and Jamesburg. And it increases to 851 during holidays. So we have hunger and people who need food. So Diwali is a festival of lights, and Seva is a selfless service to the community. So we have been raising for several years, and entire community, Monroe community, helps us in donations. So I request, please continue to do that. And our goal also is to teach our children, who are, some of them are born with a golden spoon. They don't understand what is needed. There is a hunger. So these Seva teachings we try to do to educate our youngsters that hunger is there, so you have to do Seva to the community. So this is an important event. Now going into some politics. The elections are going to come, so we request everyone to participate in the elections. For the Board of Education, I tell you, it has become a political hub there. The children doesn't come first. The political agenda comes first. So please take into consideration when you vote for the candidates, ask them what they stand for. If they stand for politics, don't vote them. If they stand for the children first and do best for our children, education, sports, and arts, we have to vote them. So there are a lot of challenges in Board of Education. I request to look at it and vote them, and let us make it non-political. Give a merit for the best candidate. Thank you.
You're welcome. Ma'am, you wish to come up, please? Your name and address for our records.
My name is Brianne Peters. I'm actually a resident of Highland Park, but I've worked and spent time and money in Monroe since as long as I can remember. I'm here to urge you to support the Immigrant Trust Act, as immigrants are the backbone of our country and positively impact our day-to-day life. Seeing our neighbors get abducted off the street, out of their jobs, from their homes is inhumane. These folks are not criminals. They are contributing members of our economy and society as a whole. I'm speaking to ensure that all residents of the Township of Monroe are protected, that police and both elected and unelected officials cannot work or share information with ICE. The Constitution guarantees due process to anyone on U.S. soil, and we see that this process has not been followed nationwide. I urge you to support a resolution in support of the Constitution to ensure these rights are respected and protect our immigrant neighbors by passing the Immigrant Trust Act, or a resolution in support of the Immigrant Trust Act. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Next, please, sir.
Hello, my name is Gyaneshwar Sadamastula, Gyaneshwar. Last name Sadamastula. Address 283 Morning Glory Drive. I have 4 points to tell. I just wrote it so that it's easier to talk. The first thing about the updates on the pickleball. So first of all, thank you to Monroe Township for the pickleball facility near the Senior Center and the Tranquility Trail near New England Road. Okay, these are great improvements. I still urge the township to also develop a long-term plan to preserve open space and consider like a 1 to 2 year plan for the rec center on the southern side of town, similar to Texas Road. Second point is I'm concerned about the Board of Education, like the filing of the lawsuit against Dr. Chanley. It's just a waste of taxpayer dollars. These funds not support the student, they just support the legal disputes, and I encourage the mayor and the council to kind of make the voters aware that like on November 4th, when they go for the BOE elections, vote for candidates who prioritize the education and not politics. The third one is, I'm not sure if this happens a lot of time at BOE meetings where the public forum is just kind of a drag and it just goes on forever and we don't have time, parents, to participate in the public forum because there's no fixed time. So I request, if possible, to have a fixed public forum. During like council meeting also it will help because sometimes the council meeting also go like late time. So in the BOE, in the council or the BOE meeting, so that residents can have consistent opportunities to speak and have questions. So if we have a fixed public forum time, it will be helpful for both council meetings and BOE meetings. The last thing I want to tell is like I did follow up with the township, I think sent an email. There are a lot of street lights on Morning Glory or Drive, and then I drove on Applegarth, and when I sometimes drive on Bucklew, there are a lot of street lights which are just not working, and these are all mercury lights, okay? So, which take time to reach the full brightness. So I did follow up, I think this was few months earlier this year, where the township actually was trying to follow up with JCPL to basically upgrade these lights to LED. I'm not sure what's the status on that.
You finished, sir?
I think that's all I had. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Council President, I just gave, it's the same status that I gave before.
right.
We had provided about 250 lights outages to JCP&L. They're down to about 70 left to complete, and those have fault line issues that take a little more time to repair, but they are hoping within the next 2 to 3 weeks to have that repaired.
Okay, thank you.
And as a reminder, folks, the Board of Education is elected by the residents of the town. It is an independent board with its own members and its own attorneys, and we are not in charge of the Board of Education.
No, we are not charged of the
I'm
board.
just making a general reminder. That's all, not.
No, I'm just wondering, like, if the council can just do a statement, like, you know what, this.
Sir, we are not in charge of the Board of Ed. That's okay. We all get to vote.
Thank you.
The next person who wishes to address us, please come forward. Your name and address for our record, sir.
Hi, good evening. My name is Jacob Daniels. I am a resident of Highland Park. Before I start, I just want to say it's really cool to hear that you are celebrating the diversity of cultures, Diwali. I'd probably be showing up to that if I'm around. My main question is, does this council support the Immigrant Trust Act?
The council, that's not a question. No.
This is your
5 minutes
This
to
is your
speak.
5 minutes, not ours.
I understand, but this council has not stated whether they do or not.
The
I find that
council-
concerning.
The council will review the Immigrant Trust Act. That is all I'm prepared to say tonight. Whether the council, that's all I'm prepared to say tonight. Your 5 minutes is not up. You have things you
I
wish
know
to
you're
say.
still talking, so I was going to wait for you
Then-
to stop. So if the this council does decide to not support the Immigrant Trust Act, I would like to make the strong suggestion to leave out the Pledge of Allegiance, as it does talk about liberty and justice for all, and it does not make the distinction between citizens and non-citizens. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comments. The next person who wishes to speak, please come forward.
Hi, Monroe City Council. My name is Troy Chartier Vignat Piano. I am a resident of South River.
So obviously, I am not a resident of Monroe Township, but I do consider myself a concerned citizen of the state. So I do hope that that suffices. I'm here today. This is not going to be a big surprise. I'm here today to humbly ask that the City Council votes when the time comes to vote for a resolution to vote in support of the Immigrant Trust Act. To me, this act is a common sense guardrail for what I believe are unprecedented and downright scary times. We have people on the streets of our neighborhood throughout the state that are being taken away and sent to locations that aren't being disclosed to family members, right? We don't have a lot of information being given out to family members of people who are being detained or to the public in general. People are scared to go outside for really anything, even when it comes to immigration check-ins and appointments. And honestly, what's probably the most heart-wrenching, in my opinion, is the fact that children of immigrants are terrified of going to school, either out of fear of being taken themselves or to come home and find that their parents have been taken without them knowing. I've heard of cases in New Brunswick specifically of students whose grades have actually gone down as a result of stress induced by these chaotic, scary times. And that makes sense to me. I mean, these people are scared for their own safety, their kids. They don't, necessarily understand what's happening right now, and they just want their parents to be home when they come home, right? So the Immigrant Trust Act is a step towards ensuring that people can use the critical services provided by the state that everyone is entitled to without that data being misused for purposes outside of the jurisdiction of the state, right? It's to reaffirm that trust that everybody should have in our local government to provide for us and to provide healthy, fulfilling lives, right? If the Council of Monroe were to pass a resolution in favor of the Immigrant Trust Act, it'd be a great act of commitment to the peace and mind of not only the citizens of Monroe, but also to everybody in the state. And I just hope that you all take that stance along with a growing number of city councils. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else coming forward? Please, sir. Your name and address for our record, sir.
Yes, Paul Peliquin. I live at 241A, Monroe Township, in Rossmore community, just across the road. I'm speaking in favor of the Immigrant Trust Act from a somewhat different standpoint. Immigrants are being used as a scapegoat to distract from an attack on the country. It's been used to create a private army of the president, which is invading cities on obviously pretextual reasons and political reasons for his own agenda. That's one reason. It's very important at a critical time that be exposed and opposed. And the city council should take part in that by supporting the Immigrant Trust Act. There's another reason. It's a distraction from the attack on our living standards. The big, beautiful bill cut Medicaid. Over 10 years, the cuts to Medicaid will total $930 billion. Direct cuts to Medicaid. Cuts to Medicare, because unfunded tax cuts have to be compensated with the cuts in programs, will cut $500 billion from Medicare. This is not widely reported, but it is reported. And the total is over $1 trillion over 10 years. That tax cut that this bill does gives the 1% $1 trillion tax cut over 10 years. That tax cut is a tax cut for them for sure, but it's a raise in taxes for everyone that needs health care. The Yale Department of Health and the University of Pennsylvania did a study. They estimated that 51,000 Americans a year will die from those cuts in health availability of health care. You don't need an academic study to know if you keep people from going to a doctor, people are going to die. In 10 years, 51,000 deaths per year are they would total the amount of deaths of Americans that died in World War II. So the president's bill is a fundamental attack on the country itself and the health of the country itself, and this should be opposed and stated strongly by the City Council. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else coming up, please, sir? Ma'am? Whomever is making it up first. Name and address for our records, please.
My name is Alan Christopher Poole, G-O-U-O, and live at 518B Hazen Road in Monroe Township.
Chris,
Talk into the microphone so we can hear you, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to encourage council to vote for this resolution on the Immigration Trust Act. I want to encourage you guys to vote for that and support. And I wanted to quote something that came to me, and I'm sure many of us, of what's going on now presently in this country. And this is a quote which probably many of you are aware of from he's a German Lutheran pastor, Martin Niemöller, and the prose or poem that he wrote, which was written in 1946, is "They Came for Me." And I'm going to read you the German, the translation from German directly that he had written. He said, "When the Nazis came for the communist, I kept quiet. I wasn't a communist. When they came for the trade unionist, I kept quiet. I wasn't a trade unionist. When they locked up the Social Democrats, I kept quiet. I wasn't a Social Democrat. When they locked up the Jews, I kept quiet. I wasn't a Jew. When they came for me, there was no one left to protest." Yeah, just want to leave you with that.
Thank you. Someone else is waiting to speak with us. Please come forward. Your name and address, please, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Jenny Pisaki. I live at 97 North Main Street in Cranberry, but I also work at 1600 Perrineville Road in Monroe. I work for Jewish Family Services there. I'm here to speak again in support of asking the council to please support the Immigrant Trust Act, but for some very different reasons than what you've already heard this evening. As a social worker, I currently work at Jewish Family Services. I've been there since July. Right before that, I was a social worker in a public school, middle school, and high school in South River, where there was a very large immigrant population. I had young people, as young as 9 years old, coming into my office saying, "Why does President Trump hate my family? I'm scared to come to school. I'm scared that if I leave, somebody's going to stop and attack my mom or my dad." And I hate to tell you this, I also happen to be a member of a rapid response team in Cranberry and Mercer County. And yes, I also get reports about Monroe. ICE has already been through the streets of Monroe. They've already been trolling up and down the streets of Monroe. And I can tell you that just last Friday, I got a posting from the Camden Center for Social Justice telling me that ICE is sending out notices to teenagers in high schools throughout the state, telling them that they should turn themselves in, they should self-deport. They can get as much as $2,500 if they choose to self-deport, and they should also inform their parents to do the same thing. And if they have any friends who should be self-deporting, to please notify ICE of those friends. This is attacking our young people as well as our older citizens. I will tell you, my current clients, who are Monroe residents, are very nervous about taking their grandchildren to school. Schools are considered safe spaces, but unfortunately, right now, under the Immigrant Trust Directive, they are only safe in the private spaces, not in the public spaces, and walking into a school building is a public space. The last piece that I want to remind you of is this. The police are being told that they do not have to cooperate with the federal law enforcement, and that is true, unless there is a report of a criminal act or a suspicion that a criminal act is going to take place. Being undocumented is not a criminal act. It is a civil violation. It's not a criminal violation. However, ICE has been known to tell local police forces that they are pursuing criminals and therefore forcing the police to come out and causing a trust issue between civilians and their police force. They did that in Trenton, they did it in Edison, they did it in Princeton, and unfortunately, I'm concerned that they're going to do it again in Monroe. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your name and address for the records, please, Catherine. You need to
Just
be
sit
heard.
Closer. Maybe that works better.
Yes, it does.
Catherine Hunt, 121, letter P, Lowell Lane, Monroe Township. And I also want to speak in favor of the Immigrant Trust Act. It looks as if our elected officials are very quiet, and we don't hear very much from them. So many of our churches and local community groups are the ones who are doing the rapid response, who are reaching out to people whose family member has been taken from them and helping them pull together the reports that they need to make for their lawyers. We're trying to find ways to discover where their disappeared family members have been taken, because for days or months even, they'll not even know where that family member is. So it takes a lot of work from the community to help in this situation. A lot of people don't know their rights, so we teach them their rights. A lot of businesses don't know their rights, so we teach them their rights. You know, that's all our volunteer time, just to let you know what the volunteers are doing here, number of us. And I just wanted to point out why it's so appropriate for municipalities to be considering a resolution in favor of the Immigrant Trust Act. We know that ICE almost never has a judicial warrant, which is in violation of the Fourth Amendment, and they do it every day. They often wear masks so as not to identify themselves, neither do they document their mistreatment of New Jersey residents, nor do they have a judicial warrant that names a person or a thing that they are taking, because they would have to show probable cause, and they don't have any. Most of the people that they take are simply people who are here working and trying to follow our Byzantine system of immigration as best as they can. And we do remember that poem, First They Came for the Name the Target Group, which is just a distraction, and we know how it ends, at our own front doors, if we don't stand up to it. We did have an autocracy once, that was King George. As Hamilton says, you'll come crawling back to me, in the song, la 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 la. British troops could come to your door, or my door, and take any man, woman, or child, animal, crops, any tools, goods, anything. People didn't like that, so they went to their municipal councils And the municipal councils passed laws, ordinances, resolutions, which made it to the county level, to the state level, and finally in our Constitution as the Fourth Amendment, which, as I said, ICE continually disobeys, and as asking our police to participate in, including on their off hours, so that they will also participate in being completely unaccountable. And I know that as an RN, I am governed by the State Nurse Practice Act. I identify myself. I have the law looking over my shoulder just as much as the police do. I have to document every single thing I do. And that's a legal document. That's the patient chart belongs to you, by the way, your patient chart. Yeah. So I would just like to say that I would encourage you very much to participate in our history of our democratic republic and do pass a resolution in favor of the Immigrant Trust Act. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Folks, well, I don't wish to cut off your right to speak. If you are beginning to repeat what each of you has said,
Correct.
you might
I
want
am.
to.
I am.
Please, your name and address, please.
My name is Gabriella Stodd. I live at 7 Halifax Drive, Monroe Township.
Round the corner. The mic, please.
Thank you. And thank you for allowing us the time to present our concerns and our supports. And I appreciate your forbearance for any redundancies. But I am a community social worker, so policy and community are forefront in my life, professionally and personally, and I am also a naturalized citizen. So are my daughters. As such, the Immigrant Trust Act is a very important goal for people like myself to achieve. In 2018, New Jersey Attorney General Brule issued the Immigrant Trust Directive. This was the forebearer of the Immigrant Trust Act that we have all been talking about tonight. It's very important to go back to that because it is the basis of what we're discussing here today. It defined the relationship and responsibilities between local, county, and state law enforcement, and as you heard, federal civil immigration authorities, including ICE. It was positive on a policy level, on a community level, and on a personal level. All this to preserve public safety and quell immigrant communities' fears of reprisal or deportation if they step forward to report crimes or domestic abuse to law enforcement. Basically, then, the directive is a mutual social and safety support system. What it is not is a sanctuary tool. It does not restrict the state from providing assistance to federal immigration authorities in emergencies, nor from complying with judicial warrants, which, as you heard, are sorely lacking in many cases. No due process. Fast forward to 2025, immigrant communities are faced with serious challenges and threats to their welfare, physicality, privacy, safety, and families. But I would like to point out that so are we. In Monroe, approximately 25% of our population is diverse and foreign-born, and growing. This is not an issue that will simply disappear and go away. It will just deepen and broaden. Today, we have the opportunity to support the intent of the directive and expand it by adopting a resolution to stand behind the Immigration Trust Act, a bill in the current legislature, as you've heard many a time, which seeks to protect and codify the roles and rights laid out in the directive. We have the opportunity to support the values everyone on the council has alluded to or addressed directly. We need to demonstrate our commitment to our community as well as to the law. We in Monroe are all linked to each other in one communal effort to safeguard, contribute, and advance our town's public safety, economy, social fabric, and quality of life. We will not achieve these if we permit any segment of our population to be selected, rooted out, routed, threatened, made to feel fear, and who may be sanctioned arbitrarily or without due process or simply disappeared. How this has become acceptable is beyond comprehension and conscience. We cannot invest, nor aid, nor abet such actions. The moral, social, and economic costs are too grave. In the current context, we've learned that not protecting the rights of one group may erode the rights of others, and finally affects all of us. What we can do is support our residents, businesses, and our safety, clarify and protect the purviews of our community resources and law enforcement, stand up for civil liberties and rights as laid out in New Jersey and constitutional systems, and promote communal compassion, strength, and cohesiveness. Monroe's support of the Immigration Trust Act can fulfill these goals and our federal and state responsibilities at the same time. It is absolutely doable. I urge you to issue a resolution backing the Immigration Trust Act, and thank you for your consideration.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else wishing to address us? Seeing and hearing none, I'm going to ask for a motion to close the public comment section, please.
Motion.
Thank you. May I have a second on that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? May I have a motion?
President,
Yes.
Before we close the meeting,
Yes.
can I make a statement?
Of course you can.
First of all, I want to thank each and every one of these people who came forward tonight to express their views and to step forward and show the courage and strength to let their views be known. There are so many reasons, many of which were expressed tonight, and even other reasons that we didn't have time to listen to every single reason. But I just want to tell you, as speaking just for myself as one person, one councilman, I will strongly and unabashedly support the Immigration Trust Act in any way possible. Thank you. Thank you, Madam President.
You're most welcome. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
May I have a second on that motion?
Second.
And the time is?
We are adjourned at 8:02.
Thank you very much.